The major scale can be used as scaffolding to develop our knowledge of other mode types in two different ways. One of the most common ways that it's used is to create a collection of notes that you start in different places to generate different mode sequences. For example, if I start with just my basic diatonic tetrachord once again, and create a full major scale, at the same time I create a collection of pitch classes that I can now use as the basis for an interval sequence that's constantly changing. So for example, I could start with this sequence, a C major scale. I could start that same collection of notes, this time on D, to create a new mode type called the Dorian. Yet another mode type called the Phrygian, the Lydian, the Mixolydian, the minor or Aeolian, and finally the Locrian. Now, most people find this system useful for learning their major scales and their minor scales. We can say that the tonic for the minor scale that's related to the major scale is 3 semitones below. That would be true for any major scale. For example, I could have a major scale, and the relative minor scale would be 3 semitones below. Now that's fine for getting as far as minor, but many people don't find this particularly helpful for learning all of the other mode types. What we need to do is figure out some way to put all of these modes in parallel with each other. Now the basis for this is going to be moving from a major scale directly to what we call its parallel minor. That is, the minor scale that uses the same tonic, not the relative minor. So if I have a C major scale, the first shift that I want to make is to what we call the third scale degree. Any scale can be broken down into these basic components: the tonic or first scale degree, second scale degree, third scale degree, fourth scale degree, fifth scale degree, sixth scale degree, seventh scale degree, and then back to the first scale degree or tonic again. If I shift the third scale degree down by semitone, I have a very different sound quality all of a sudden. It begins to sound minor to my ear. And in fact, if I keep everything else the same, I have the first part of what's known as melodic minor. In melodic minor, the third scale degree is the same as it would be in the basic minor form, but what changes are the sixth and seventh scale degrees. They are raised by semitone from where they should be. And they return to what they should be when the scale goes down. That's why it's called the melodic minor scale. The note use changes depending on the direction of the melody. What you get when you return down the melodic minor scale is what we call the natural minor scale. So for example, if I had an E flat major scale, the relative minor is 3 semitones below that. We arrive at the same place we just did. But the difference is, if we get used to working with parallel major and minor, our ear starts to be able to make comparisons between them. The sound of major and the sound of minor. So now we have a framework that we can use to extend this basic division into all of the other mode types and to learn them in parallel form. That means that our ear will be able to start making comparisons and therefore start being able to recognize these different mode types.